If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and get started today. Peace, everyone. It's your girl, Sequoia Blue, back in here with another episode. And today we're celebrating season 4. We're starting season 4 officially today. And this is my first guest for season 4. I'm so grateful. We have Michaell Magrutsche on here. And he is going to talk to us about art and how it's our superpower. And that we should chowder it and not try to hide it and be scared about it because of what society says. So I want to start off, Mike, with like your journey. Like, how did you get into the arts? You know, how did you get into art and what made you want to get into that?
I was born in Vienna in Austria, where Mozart comes from, right? From the very old cultural things. And I was a sick child. I would never fit in. So I never fit into anything. And then in addition, I had dyslexia. So not only was I physically sick, I had this dyslexia and I couldn't fit in anywhere and couldn't understand it. So I wasn't a rebellious child. I had tutors and everything, but I couldn't fit in. And I found out with about 35 that I'm an artist, even though I'm doing art since I'm 6 years old. Every job that I did was 6 years old, but till 35, I didn't recognize that I was an artist, I always liked art and everything. And I created art, and I was a DJ, I was a fashion show producer, I was in television, I did all that stuff. But with 35, I looked for a job and looked at my resume, and everything was creative or art. So there was no bookkeeper or whatever, anything in there. So I realized then, that what kept me alive was art. That was what kept me alive. That was the one thing that brought me into balance. That brought me that I felt I'm me. I wasn't dependent. I mean, if I like a song, I don't have to be accepted first by the system. I just didn't like that song. So many people, so many people find themselves, with songs or movies or whatever. They feel, hey, I'm not that abnormal. Even if it's a dark movie, if it's a sad song or whatever, but they feel they're not alone. And I didn't feel lonely because I was always good with people. I was the speaker of the class, but I failed the class.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I was always good with people, and probably that helped save me too. But in the arts, as you know, there's very little discrimination in the art community. In the art business, there might be, but because it's art, the art business that as we know it is the art business. As the art world isn't art. The art world is a product, and that's sold like a bicycle. So whatever product you make, a song, I make a painting, those are two products, and they're gonna be sold like a bicycle or a can of Coke. It doesn't make a difference. So that's a system. So the problem is we artists have never defined our value, and therefore humanity doesn't know about creativity. I mean, they know about creativity, but they think it's like anything else. Is that write a letter, do this, and just be on a conveyor belt and just do that, But in order to be creative, you have to, even if you do your podcast, you have to feel it out, think, and you are the fourth season of yours. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that is and you're not making millions of dollars with it, but because it's so powerful to create and to co-create with humans. And I think this is another thing that the discourse. I found 3 superpowers of human. Number one, is a creativity, so that you were even able to do the podcast, right? Number 2 is human discourse, which you are good at because you're talking, you found that. And number 3 is our adaptability. So you have to adapt to that, you know? And those are 3 superpowers that we have. That's why system can even function, because if we wouldn't adapt to it, it wouldn't function. And when you think about it, what did systems do? They're so limited because they weren't created by God. Apple didn't give any person a life. You know what I mean? You got born by your mom, you know?
Yep.
So that no system, no state has power over a life. Never. It should never have, because systems didn't give United States, whatever, Russia, whatever, didn't give us life that they can take it away, either in a war, either through whatever, you know, all the issues, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot.
What they did and what they started is they separated us. Said, oh, we are so limited. I think we have to female humans and male humans. We have to separate them. Okay, there's feminine, there's woman, and there's man. And then, race. Oh, there's 2. They're all so different. We can't handle it. Oh, there's all these races. And now the systems say, sexuality. Oh, we can't handle. Somebody's gay. Oh, all the sexual. So now but you know they can't handle it because there's so many variation, which you see now in sexuality, right?
Yeah.
There's so many variation. A system can handle it, but everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
And it's all about humanity. That's what it is. It's about humans. It's not about woman, man, race, sexuality. It doesn't matter. It's about, and art is the reflection of that. Art is such a great, and I give you an example. When you go to any art opening, there is every race, every sexuality, every political power, every religious power, every sexuality, everything is there. They all mingle. They don't talk business. They mingle. And the funny thing is, they don't even look at the art, because it's just the magic of art. It's you know, that we all can connect, and all of a sudden you forget that you are a Republican or a Democrat. You forget that what race you are. You forget all this stuff, just being surrounded by the art. And that's what I think. That's why art is such a superpower. And art should be praised as the most essential creativity, because you create art because you create art. You make a song. You're not saying, I'm creating a song that this song is going to be number 1 in the hit parade, and then it has all these millions of people buying the song. Yes, that might be in your back of your mind. Everybody wishes that. Everybody wants to be successful, and everybody wants to belong to the tribe. And it's kind of a reflection that we are worthy, but we are worthy by existing, like in nature.
Yeah.
We are worthy because we're born. An elephant doesn't say, I have more value than an ant. They are valuable because they exist.
And that takes me into Jamie Foxx's cartoon Soul that was on Disney Pixel, and he kept trying to find his purpose with his music. He couldn't get to where he wanted, but he was still doing music, but not the way he wanted. But then he realized at the end his purpose was to live, that he existed, and he still helped others to find their art and their true power. So I love that you said that.
Yeah, and that's we forget that, because we think, oh my God, this is a CEO of a big company. No, he has his purpose, but he is not better than you or not less worth than you. Yeah. You were born. And since system cannot define your value as a human, because they haven't given birth to you. If systems are God or whatever, matrix or universe, and have given birth to you, it's okay. Then they can take it away or whatever. But don't tell me what to do, or don't create products that on second thought kill people. You know, they're defective. So the systems are here like a tribe to help us out, right? Yeah. But it becomes out that we help them out. So we need to make systems human adaptable again. And I think that's what we're discovering right now, that all these systems are faltering. We need to not go without systems, but we need to adapt them to human adaptability. So not that humans adapt to systems, but systems serve humans. Not that humans don't do anything. I'm just saying they have to be adaptable, so that we find ourselves again. And
I totally agree with that, because it's like frequencies. I think that, people look at movies and stuff and they'll say it's a movie, but there's frequencies in the movies. There's signs in the movies, and rather you know it or not, I notice it because I'm an artist. I'm an artist before. I don't even want to call myself a singer, really. I'm an artist, true and true. Exactly. So I pick up stuff like people say, oh, don't watch movies and stuff or whatever if you want to be successful. Well, no, I think it's important to make time to watch movies and to see and to listen to podcasts, to see the mindset of people. Where is the culture going? Where is the world going? And understanding like the little lessons and the little tribal knowledge in these stories, and that's important. Like I was watching Aboriginals, about the Aboriginals. It was a vampire show called Fight Bite. And Fire Bite, that's what it's called. And it was crazy because I was learning about the Aboriginals. I didn't know I knew they went through some things, but I didn't know exactly what they went through. I didn't know they lived far out somewhere in the middle of nowhere. So they were actually dropping in social, issues in the show. And some people didn't like that, but I said, no, this is truth. This is facts. And this is a form of art and different way of expressing things. So I like that you said that. And why do you feel people, like, this is a good question. So why do you feel people feel incompetent to talk about art? Like, I think sometimes people are like, oh, if you're not a lawyer or a doctor, it's like, your music is a hobby.
It's a hobby. That's what they say. Starving artist is 2 words. It's a hobby that you get often. And then there's the other word is we're starving artists. And that's because we, the artists, I always say the same example, but it makes so much sense. When you go to a plumber and says, why am I paying you $5,000? The plumber says, I'm going to put a new bathtub in, put a new shower head, and my labor. And that's what it is. What would the artist say? Oh, I was elected number 1. I got a Grammy. I was nominated for a Grammy, or I was in this museum. What the hell does this mean? This doesn't mean that I have to love the art. I mean, the plumber I need, right? I need that plumbing. But I don't, what should I do with that you were a Grammy artist? I'm not investing in you. I'm liking your song. I'm liking your painting. I like your movie. That's why I connect with you, not because you, and so we have never defined our value. Also, what we talk in here, how powerful art is, like that it brings all the humans together, all races, all things. It brings us back to what we are, humans, not gender. Not race, not sexuality, humans. One race. A cat doesn't ask another cat, are you white? Are you black? Are you checkered? Whatever. A cat is a cat, right? And we are human animals. And so we need to, my true north is humans and our habitat, nature. Because if that goes out of whack, what arrogance can we have that we take care of our generation and don't care about our children's generations or whatever? I mean, what an arrogance, Let's just do everybody electric cars and let's do everything they're the same, and we exploiting our earth and everything. Hey, I only have 20 years to live anyway, so who cares? I'm gonna be out of here. My kids, who cares?
Yeah, that's how they think.
Yeah, but this is system thinking. That humans were never thinking. That's conditioning, because we created systems and they become too big. And now they run us because they don't sleep. What system sleeps? But we are strong because we are balanced. So we have seasons, we have the periods, we have, we have constantly all these things. We sleep at night, we have cycles. So we need to, biorhythms and all that stuff, we need to balance. We are nothing if we're not balanced.
We have to be balanced.
Exactly. That's the power, not the power that I'm more powerful than you or you more powerful than me. It's about, we got to keep us in balance. Then we have human potential. Wow. Then we are limitless. Then we have there's nothing that can hold us back. But
I agree on that.
How can you be balanced these days when we have to more automation on everything. We have in the cell phone more power than the first chips and everything. Mm-hmm. And we are busier and crazier than ever. Metaverse. What the hell is why do we create reality that we like? Because we don't like this reality. Why don't we make this reality work and then do a metaverse?
That's so true, because I think people are going to get caught in the metaverse, and they're already caught in social media and thinking that it's real and it's not. It's just certain things you don't know what they're going through behind the closed doors. And it's like, I feel the same thing about metaverse. It's like, I think it's cool, it's cheeky, but it's best if you're doing that in real life, because if you're just, the who's who are going to make money off of their lands on metaverse. That's just and they're already making money. But the regular people that go on there, it's like, okay, I think that it's a game. If you're gonna play a game, okay, but don't try to make it like a house and this is your house and you're like, that's just your reality, and then you're not doing that outside of it, and then you're depressed when you go home, you're crying at night, and that's not something, and that's something that we have to work on. Because if you watch TikTok, because I'm just a curious person, that's just how I am. I look at what people say, they're like, they telling you they're depressed in so many ways. Like, they're telling you, hey, I gotta work, and then what? I watched a young lady yesterday say on TikTok, I have to get up, go to work, then come home, go to sleep. Get up, go to work. And she just seems so frazzled, and you can tell in her eyes, she's like, I want more, but what can I do? And then you got people, you can do art. And the thing about it is, I've seen so many TikTok creators say, hey, I'm going to be a digital nomad. And all of them are artists, most of them. They're like, I want to be a nomad. But and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, if you want to go stay in a tent on the beach, I'm not judging you for it. But if you want the lifestyle and to be an artist, of course, there are different things you have to do. And when you ask them, are they doing these things? A lot of artists aren't doing it. They're scared. They're in the wrong environment. They have trauma. They can't tap into that God-given talent to say, okay, let me get out of this situation. Let me go 150%, And I think that's what I've noticed. It's not that artists don't make it. They have things holding them back after 10 years talking to different artists from Atlanta to LA.
Yeah.
They're not doing it. They're not doing it. They don't know. And some of them don't know what to do. And, so.
They're caught up in the system. They're caught up in the system, because the system has to deem you an artist. Then you call yourself an artist. Mm-hmm. Because if the system, I had front of magazines. I was in the International Airport Show. I had all this stuff. I sold $11,000 paintings. Wow. But I tell you another secret. I had no idea how I did it. There was no plan in it. I just focused that I'd be 100% me, as pure as I can be. But that doesn't mean there's a lot of people that are 100% them and they're not successful. And I also found out that money, achievement, success, and fame have nothing to do with each other. You can be famous, no money. You can be successful, no money. You can be successful and don't do anything. So this is what systems tell you. You work hard, you get money, you get successful, you get famous. That is completely a lie, because to every successful person you go and ask him how he did, he can only say, I think I did this. Like I just said, I was always poor me, but as a pure try to be expressing myself. So even if I knew that would sell, I wouldn't do it, because I wanted to do what is me. I wouldn't use the color purple if I don't like the color purple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean still that I got success. That doesn't mean still that I make money. It doesn't mean that. I have a billionaire said the best explanation. He says, try to stay in business and perhaps you're lucky and the luck hits you. Just stay in business, just float. So when you got lucky, when it hits you, that you can actually deliver. So if somebody says a sponsor, I want to sponsor you, Sequoia. I want to sponsor you. Now you have a podcast, but without a podcast, you can't be sponsored. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So what I'm saying is, you taggle along. You be happy what you do, be the most that you do, but you're not gonna say change your podcasts around till the market recognizes you. You change it around till it's 100% you, but not. And that's what you say you give it 150%. That's the only way where you give, to be 100% you.
Yes.
The more then you enjoy the moment. Like we just
you have fun. You can go with the
Exactly.
flow. Because I know when I started my podcast, everybody's like, do a niche podcast. I'm not a niche girl. I'm not in personal life. I'm not going to be someone I'm not. I can't tell you. I love music and art, but I don't mind talking about entrepreneurship. I like talking about different things, and not just because I'm one, but I just like different topics and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm just going to be Sequoia and do this podcast, and whoever resonates with it. And I like that you said that, and I hope artists and entrepreneurs are listening, because it took me years to get there. It took me a long time.
Me too. Me too.
Because I was a bonehead. So
yeah, and I couldn't fit in. So I mean, I had to discover me, because I couldn't fit in. So I couldn't just be a lawyer and then say, okay, let's see what's happening. I had to survive somehow. And
you had to make it work.
I have to make it work, but I couldn't force it, because every time I forced it, I was sick. I was dyslexic. I tried to force my education. I failed. I couldn't. So I had to learn by myself, in my way, my time, my space, my way. And it's my way or the highway. No. I had to do it my way. Otherwise, I couldn't survive.
You can't. And that's so true. Like, I think there's college education, but then there's self-education. And self-education is way more fruitful.
Oh yeah,
you understand. I learned so much when I caught on it at 25, and I started the evolution. I said, oh, okay. I learned so much just from reading a book. I didn't need to spend $100,000 in college,
Exactly.
And I was like,
Yeah, what can you do if you have a master's in fine art? That doesn't mean you're showing at the Met.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't mean that. I mean, I know enough people that have a master's of art. They don't even work in art. They started working at Kinko's, doing, at a copy store, doing some graphics and whatever. And, but I also come from a time where it costs $4,000 to make you a logo, and now you can buy it for $20.
Yeah,
so,
now you
know what I mean? It's just this system is the dynamic of the system is it will always take advantage of people, because it's too big. Instead of supporting people, and that's why I think we need the economy that is ethnical, because the system of static against organic, where organic people, we need to balance back. We need to have sleep. We need to have time, and that sooner or later is not going to work, because the system needs more and more money, and it's redistributed in wrong parts. So 8 people own 40% of this planet. Half of the workforce has to live for $5.50 a day in the world. Yeah. Half of and they say, oh, we have no slavery anymore. I don't know about that,
No.
Because, so half of the workforce, and they're not colored, or they're every color, they're all humans.
Yeah.
So half of them have to live for $5. That's on the World Economic Bank, or whatever the World Economic.
And it's ridiculous, because a lot of people might have had the best script in the world, but they can't do nothing because they have to hustle.
Exactly.
And it's not just people with kids. It could be a single person, because you have to eat, you have to take care of yourself. Yeah, I don't have kids neither, and it's like, but I know, okay, it's still times where it's like, I can't go to Brazil and talk to the, you can't just do what you want to do. You have to take time, and and I think I just want the world to be more fair, as far as people have an opportunity to see the world, to see themselves, because life is definitely fleeting, and I just don't feel like I know eventually the government's going to change, but it might not be in our time. But I think it will take a revolt from everybody on the planet to do it. But most people are scared. So.
But if people say, it doesn't even need to be a revolt. It needs to be just saying, okay, we now realize that without humans, there can't be any systems. Without system, there can be very well humans. Like I said, system didn't give birth to humans. So humans, somehow we are limitless. Like you say, you are everything. You are a human, because you are not interested just in art, or just in systems, or just in fashion. You are interested in everything. So relationship, whatever it is to be human, you're interested. Tech, whatever it is. So if humans I think we're coming to that spot where humans says, listen, this is not going to work for us. And I heard in Sri Lanka they did they got rid of the government by peaceful protest. So it doesn't need to be against, because it's not against. We created the systems, right? We created them, so we just need to change them. Change the damn systems so we can enjoy them, and we can actually do something for human potential, like what we're doing right now. We talking about we have so much potential. Why can't we not realize that potential? Because we are distracted by everything else, you know?
Yes, we are.
So, but we created that. So, and on the other side are also kids and people. They have on the other side of systems, they have kids they have to feed and whatever. So we basically, and that's why I come in, I say, we're using our human potential and the highest form of our creativity to work against other humans, you know, through systems. Which is what kind of stupidness is that?
Yeah.
You know, if humans get that, it changes tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're gonna make a new tax because there's a new political leader. So they get the people that work for him, say, make me the best tax so that people are not revolting, blah blah blah. And then what do we do on the other side? We say, hey, we have also kids. We need to get an accountant that navigates us through that. We pay the less tax. So we basically for nothing, and all the life force, the energy is wasted on a system that behind it has humans.
It's not real. It's made up.
Yeah, it's made up. No, but the humans create the system or maintain it. And then it's almost like they created a mirror, a double-sided mirror, and we say, oh, they're so mean. And then, it's easy to get upset about a system, oh, RS is bad or the government is bad. No, they're humans too. We need to communicate to each other.
There you go. Communication.
Art is the language of the world, the language of wisdom. You don't need to speak Japanese if you can draw. You don't need to, you sing a song, I understand all over the world. So that's why I'm saying it's a superpower.
It really is. And it transcends, like, as an artist, it's like it goes into tech, it goes into entrepreneurship, it all intertwines with each other, because at one point I'm like, oh, getting into tech, I'm getting into stuff that's not music, but it was also still music. It was still intertwining, like it's intuition, like even in tech, like I may not know all definitions of everything, but guess what? I'm gonna go in there and I just figure it out. Like it's creative intuition, and it's kind of odd to say that in a logical career, but it's true.
I get you.
And it's like that's a topic that needs to be talked about, because a lot of people don't say that when it comes to tech. Oh, creative intuition in tech. What? It's real. There's creative intuition in tech, whereas you may not know all the definitions. They're like, well, how do you not do that when you don't even know definition? Well, I'm just a creative intuitive, and that's why I believe that art is a superpower. So
it is the highest. See, the other art, when I say, okay, create that for tech, that's already limited. My limitlessness, you cut. You say, hey, make me something that makes this work. That's problem solving. That's using all my, or make a new tax or make a new thing. That's problem solving. That's limited creativity. Art is because you create something beautiful or whatever and you create it because you feel it. So this is the opposite. Every human should always do art. And that's why kids, what do kids do? The parents are yelling, everything is, they go into a corner and coloring, exactly, because it brings them in the moment. It brings them to themselves. Yep. And that's why I'm saying art brings us always to humanity. It brings us always to self. And that's why every human, and the problem is people don't see that.
They don't.
I mean, look at the craziness. Business people that are super successful, right? I'm not an artist. I said, why are you not an artist? He said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm a businessman. And I said, you know what? Like, business is better than art, right? So I said to him, you would not even think about calling yourself a businessman if you weren't creative. You would not be at that place where you are in life if you weren't creative. So your creativity is your essence, is your sense of survival. And then they say, no, I'm not an artist, I'm a businessman. And I said, and I see people, they donate $1 million to a museum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I ask him, so why did you do this? Art is important because they feel that we're all interconnected, right? They feel it, but they're not aware of that, you know? Because now I'm telling you something super. What art is a physical representation for your communication to the unseen. So you have an inspiration,
yep,
and it's a reflection, a proof of your conversation with God, with the matrix, with the universe. And that's what that person feels that pays $1 million for a Pasquale. You know, that is the person that feels that. Because a plumber, he doesn't get the plumber's thing. You know, a plumber can say he's worth, but he doesn't pay $1 million for the plumbers union. He's paying $1 million for a museum, and he doesn't know why. And I find out I have the gift to unveil stuff that's already here. So I'm the guy that walks around a fountain when the sun shines, and shows a little kid, say, look at this, see the rainbow? It's not there when you look straight on it, but when you go around it and the sun shines on the water, you see the rainbow. And it's all here already. You have all your value is already here. My value is already here. We have to just unveil it. We're like mummies. We need to just unbandage ourselves. After we leave home at 18, we have to unbandage ourselves because we have the crap of family and we have the crap of things. And we are all just
trauma.
Stuff too. You know? The good stuff too. We are successful, for example, because our family is successful. So we carry that energy further, but we have to find ourselves because otherwise success will never be happy.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
That's
find ourselves to be happy. Like you find the podcast. I mean, look. I mean, you're all happy.
Yeah, I love podcasting. It's one of my. It's and I had a fear about that. You know, I've always had stage fright. I've always had podcast frights. You know, but I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is a part of my calling. You know. Yeah. And so now I'm doing it, and I'm getting the reciprocity. And it's the same thing with music. I'm pushing it out more. I'm pushing things out more. And I think that's what artists have to do. You have to do it. You have to do what
expansion.
You want to do.
It's an expansion. It's not fun. It's not a goal. It's an expansion. That's a misunderstanding. See, the artists think, oh, I'm gonna look what the market has, and then I create a piece of art. You could do it like that, but if you want to be real successful, you have to do your own. You have to find your own, because then you enjoy the process. Because what's powerful is not this product. The product is the product, but your interaction with the unseen, with the God or whatever while you're creating, that's how you're practicing for a song, how you do all that stuff. That's the magic. That's the valuable. That's priceless. You can't put a price on that.
You can't, because
you can't put a price on this conversation.
No, you can't.
You understand, right? I mean, because we are interlinked. There's mastermind and everything, and you put a price on this. There's no price. Is it $5? Is it $10? Is it $1 million? There's none. You know?
Yeah. And that's why NFTs was started, non-fungible tokens, because I've seen people putting podcasts on as an NFT and all that. I mean, that's another big topic. I do think there's value in NFTs. I know a lot of artists like you, like painters and stuff, were putting their NFTs up. And some painters said, hey, I'm not getting anything. And some made, I don't know, $500,000 to $1 million. But I also feel like it's like you got to do it because you want to do it, and you want to, you can't just do it because you want to get money real quick. Yeah, you have to do it because this is for the long haul. If you put that NFT out there, it may not sell within the first year. It may not sell till 2 years later. And next thing you know, somebody said, oh, I like this. And you make $1 million 2 years later. The whole point is.
You always hear that, Shikara, you always hear that. You hear from the new YouTube guys. That's a system manipulation tool, because you hear from the podcasters. Oh, this podcast is, Joe Rogan went to Sirius for $1 billion or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And you hear all this stuff. You hear the one thing, but you don't hear that 99.9999% don't make any money. For example, you hear the person that makes a YouTube video and has millions of people, right? And it went viral, but he didn't make money from that. He made money after that. Because the system showed, because I know there was a group that I read in an article, they had 10 million views,
Mm.
and they got a check for $187.
Oh Lord.
So what I'm saying is now after that they make money, but not with YouTube or anything else. So
Yeah.
but companies go to them and said, okay, these guys are hot right now, and so now we pay you. So be very careful, because I wrote an article about NFTs, and I can send it to you so you can share it.
Send that to me.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do another one for artists especially, but I show for people that want to buy an NFT that they understand what it is. And you need to be very aware that these new fads, for example, I came to a conclusion that NFTs from the business side were just using art. The technology uses art to make it human relatable, to make that business to get into crypto.
Oh yeah.
So the NFT is getting into crypto, and they're using art because artists never define themselves. So artists will say, okay, wait, artists, I don't care if I make money, I just want it out, because a part of being an artist is create it, have the interaction with the God and whatever, and then expose it. But you can expose it to one person, to your mom, right? You don't have to expose it to 1 million, and you don't have to be. Art doesn't ask you to make $1 million.
Yeah, it didn't.
It just say, create me and expose me. That's it.
That's it.
So that's all. And so be very aware how often art is used for something. My friend made $100,000 for a company in 10 years in charity. For charity, he was creating something for them, and they auctioned it off. He's never gotten a job from them. Never.
Wow.
And he could have used himself. I don't know if he wouldn't have gotten this, but this company, he would have. But this is what I'm saying: is you only hear the exceptions. You only hear if you don't are aware, and that's what our breakdown is. We are not aware about human superpowers, about human values, about our limitlessness, and we are not aware that if it's not for us, none of the systems would work.
Yeah, everything's not for you to do. Like I was a bonehead in my 20s, and I used to think, okay, I'm gonna do this because that's what he did. Because I just was like I didn't want a regular job. I was like a non-regular job Nazi. So yeah. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try that. No, it didn't work because it wasn't really my passion. It wasn't something I really wanted to do. And when I learned that, and I said, I don't know what they're really doing to get there. I don't know if they're paying money for ads. I don't know. So I said, I'd rather just do what I want to do and enjoy it. And that's what I want to tell people now, because I had so many people around me in my 20s say, do this because this person did it. And it's like, that wasn't what I was supposed to do though. It wasn't my thing. So
exactly.
I think, that's important, because, as an artist, I was called unorthodox because of my style of music. I just, can someone do and copy someone else? Yes, you can do it with practice and time.
I want to hear your music.
Yeah, it's very out of the box, But I said I spent my 20s trying to fit into this box, like trying to fit in with everyone. Like, okay, I gotta be kind of normal because I don't want to be too out of the box. I'm not supposed to do that at my age. Okay, it was stressing me out, and therefore nothing was. I mean, I got songs out there, but it wasn't the way I wanted it to go. So now it's like I'm at a point where I'm going to be authentic, and that's that. Like, if whoever resonates with it, because I'm going to make income regardless, because it's, in different ways. So that's where I'm at now. And I'm just trying to help other artists get there and to have that confidence, because I know some people, like, they don't have any other, nothing else they could do but music. And I get that, but you can still be yourself. You don't have to still try to be.
That's a tightrope. You have to run the tightrope to find yourself and survive. That's the sad thing, because you should just survive because of you, being you, existing. You should. We should have set up the world. All humans, not the systems. All humans should have set up the world so that there is an equal distribution and that people can support each other, and realizing that you don't have to work 24 hours. There's some, an elephant that doesn't work like 24 hours like ants, but he has his part, and not everybody has to be the same to get the same money or whatever. It's not about everybody. There will be still rich and poor, but we should no human being, because we are so special, a system we can't create ourselves. It's a miracle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we are like, that every human in the world is allowed to have enough money to survive. Not that to go and spend money to drink and drugs. I'm saying survive and have shelter. We have 10 times as much money and food. We make 3 times as much food in the world that we need. Mm-hmm. And still 25,000 people a day die of hunger.
Yeah.
So what the hell is going on? I mean, yeah. Right?
They don't have to do this. That's the thing I'm saying.
3 times as much. Why would you mean 3 times? Make 1 time enough or 1.5 times and have nobody die of hunger.
Yeah, no one should die of hunger, and then we should have a basic income. And I was talking to my mom about this the other day. There should be basic income. What's the problem? I saw Zeitgeist when I was 20 years old, and that changed my life. But after I found out about the Federal Reserve System and all that, I was like, I was 20 years old, and I never looked at things the same. I was like, okay, this is what really is going on. And at that point, I knew that we don't even have to be going through this. Like, and it's sad because if I tell someone this, they'll look at me like I got 3 heads. So like, this is just the way it is. I'll get our economist that went to Harvard get on me. I'm like, okay, you can go to Harvard all you want, but I know the facts. Harvard can tell you what they want to tell you, but I know.
But you see it. You see it on this earth. If you live, and be somehow sensible, you understand it. You see I think the big lie, because of all the advertising that we tell each other, is it should be sunshine every day. Life should be happy every day. You wouldn't see that there is, and if you're not happy, we sell you a pill, we sell you a Ferrari, we sell you a house, we sell you a life insurance, whatever. So the biggest lie that we always tell, not the system, it was obvious the system are the loudspeakers, but what humans tell each other, that life's supposed to be sunny every day. That's why every human is shamed. It feels, oh my God, my parents were always happy. This wasn't good. This wasn't good. Because the loudspeakers goes 24/7. You should be happy. You should. If not, we have a pill. You're depressed. We are a thing. Get a thing. It's crazy. It's
too much, because I think you should allow people to go through it. Because let people just feel it. There's some real dangerous cases out there, but for some circumstantial issues or certain things, traumas, just got to go through it. And I don't know. I think this starts with self-awareness, though. See, if you're not self-aware, then you're gonna jump to all the medicine.
But we can help each other out. For example, if people listen to this, we help other humans out and say, listen, there's nothing wrong. I was depressed. I had anxiety. I was stuck on the freeway, when I was 20 or something, I was stuck on the freeway and froze up. It just because of my dyslexia and not fitting in anywhere. I never did drugs or anything, but it's just a human condition. But I was told, like everybody else, it's always should be sunny. And if it's not, buy yourself a new house, take a mortgage, get whatever. And then on the other hand, I saw all these people. I worked in a big restaurant, and all these women that came in at 55 or so, that 3 sons, they all went to Ivy League schools. They all had everything, and they were depressed because their sons went to Ivy League school and they have an empty nest syndrome. And they said, I did everything the system says, and this is what really all artists should get. Whatever these systems promise is not like a human promise you or something. The system, when it says, if you go to a system and say, listen, I did everything you said. I went to this. I got 3 sons. They all have I'm married to the right husband. I have the house. I have the dog. But I'm not happy. Guess what the system says? Something wrong with you. Something's so you can't wait for, there's something wrong. You go in and get some pills. Buy something more.
Yeah.
Buy some pills. Get a psychiatrist. It's not, because not every human condition is healable with the system.
It's not. Because you can go speak to a therapist and still go home and say, man, I just, I don't want to be here, or whatever, that person might think. I just think that I just want to teach self-awareness because it's important, because I had to learn that. I'm happy I learned it at this age, but it's like, I can say to myself, okay, I'm irritated, and it's okay, because it's going to pass. It's fleeting. Yeah. It's fleeting. Yeah. It's going to fleet. And I said, it's okay for me to be irritated. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have a meal. I'm going to enjoy this show or whatever, because I love movies and shows. So I said, that's how I think people should think through it. Like, don't feel guilty. And of course, if you call the wrong person, don't call someone that's going to make you feel bad about it. Like,
person. Yeah, there's something wrong with you, because the sound should be.
Don't call them. Yeah, don't call them. And I had to learn that, because in my 20s, I would call and say,
I know. Yeah, but that's your instinct. That's your instinct to call people, to reach out. That's your instinct. That's the tribal. That's how you get the system gets you, because we like said, oh, horrible. And then it changed to humans. Oh, everybody's always on the cell phone, on the iPad. Bullshit. Oh, horrible. And we need psychiatrists. We need this and this and this. We use each other. Our tribal instinct, our instinct to be a herd animal, we use through iPhones, through podcasts, through Zooms, through whatever, because we are all together. We are one. That's where our power is, in together, in inclusion, not exclusion, and not separation.
Yes.
In the inclusion is our power, and we have an instinct that drives us to each other. That's why we are 24 hours on that damn phone, because we're separated in everything else. We're segregated in race, sexuality, gender, and so the only way to connect to another human, and we're dripped, so we systems counteract our human drive of being together.
Yep.
And that's the crazy thing. And the self-awareness is one part that you can navigate yourself, and that's why I think it's so good that you said that, because you can navigate and understand it's not your fault. It's never your fault. It just happens.
You know you more than anyone else know you. If you know how to tap in. And when I went and studied metaphysics, that was the best degree I could ever get. Forget any other school.
Exactly.
When I studied metaphysics, I was a new person after that. I was able to be self-aware, and the universe will give you answers. If you ask God and say, hey, this is what's going on, I need to know what's up. Guess what? A stranger will say something. You're like, wait a minute, I don't even know you, but they just said something that you need to hear.
Exactly.
You know, it's some deep stuff, but people have to get there. I don't meet a lot of people that are there yet. I do think they can get there, but we have to keep talking about it like this. So, who is your favorite painter, alive or dead, or alive and dead, you know?
I must disappoint you. I have never fit into a system.
Oh.
And I don't have I have a favorite, a couple of favorite painters, but that I discovered after I was already established, you know, in my world. So I painted. I don't have a person to look up to. I accept a person, like every person is equal. I really appreciate you, for example, you know, more than I appreciate somebody else, for example, because I appreciate as a human, you know? So, but I don't say, oh, I wish I was Mick Jagger, or I was whatever. I was this person, and that doesn't impress me. And painters don't, because they're just expressing their part, you know, their uniqueness. And so,
there you go.
So I like Ellsworth Kelly, a minimalist. I like Alexandra Calder, that paints a little bit like me. And I didn't even know that. I painted already like that. And then all of a sudden I found him on the web or something. I said, I mean, is this mine? I didn't know, because I did, you know, thousands of paintings. I mean, when you go on my Instagram, it's over 1,000 paintings. I did a lot of work, music, everything. So 5 books, podcast, a 30-second podcast. By the way, if you want to grow, if you want to become self-aware as an artist, listen to the podcast. It's 30 seconds long. 30 seconds. It's a quote and a question. Twice a week. And it's making you self-aware. It makes you a self-aware artist. It makes you, I wanted to pivot us back where we can define ourselves as artists. So I just give you little seeds and you let it sprout. I trust that others will just let it sprout. We don't need another 2-hour podcast, you know, for me. We need the essence of all. And I did everything myself, and I want to be me. I you know, it. First it was horrible, because I didn't know. What you don't know, people don't understand. What you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know.
And that's why you say it's so hard to be self-aware, because you can't, what the person doesn't experience, and its wisdom is an experiential knowledge. So if you are a mother, if you're a woman or a man, and you haven't given birth to a child, you don't know how that is. So you can write, if you have never been in love, you can write 2 libraries full of books of knowledge of love, what people say, and can read it, have no idea what that feeling is. After the fact, you can. After the knowledge is, after the fact, if you have experienced that, then you can acknowledge, how did you feel when you had anxiety, this happens or whatever. And if they had anxiety, then can relate to that. So knowledge is usually a guidepost to find stuff. And this is what I do with the podcast. I give you a quote, which is a guidepost. Feel it out, and that's what
I like that.
It's a guidepost to feel it out. And then you, by the confirmation, that's our tribal thing. The relating to each other is the result of being tribal. So that's our guide, when we can relate to each other, we feel there is a gauge in us and say, okay, I'm okay. It's not I belong to you, but I'm okay as a human.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, that feeling that you're completely not alone. Like I think Frida was saying that, the painter, and she was saying that she said a quote that she was like, I know there's someone else like me out there, and I haven't met her or anything, but I know she's there. And I thought that was deep because I related to her on that, because I saw Frida. I was a young girl and I saw Frida's story, and I felt like, I related to her, even though I wasn't like, I wouldn't consider myself a painter, but I painted. And and someone said, oh, your painting is like Vincent van Gogh. And I'm like, and back then I didn't know who Vincent van Gogh was. So I looked it up and I said, oh, okay, he's different. And then I read about his story, and he was shunned in his community, and that's a whole nother thing. But
you know why? You know why he got shunned? He got shunned because nobody understood, because they were only representational, and he was like off a little. He was harsh, he wasn't doing hey like it's supposed to be, and there were these romantic painters before, and they did everything like a photo, They made a copy of it, and he didn't do it. He made a chair, and he was all distorted. No, but the Starry Night wasn't like, oh, this is not a Starry Night. That's not how and the people were so upset about it because he was himself. Yeah. That's why he only sold to his brother. He didn't sell painting.
See, and that's the thing. And he blew up when he died. It's crazy. And that's why I said now, like, my mission in life, just starting with me and artists like you, is to tell people, be unorthodox and walk in it. Because there are unorthodox artists out here that have shows and all this, and they walk in it. So that's one thing.
And you feel good don't be unorthodox because for the unorthodox sake. I don't say be different for different sake. No, you don't want to be different for different sake. If you like landscape, make landscape. Yeah. Try to find you in making that landscape. Even though everybody makes landscape, make the trees blue, whatever. If you like blue trees, if that resonates with you. So find yourself, and there's so much power in that, because you find who you are. And if your cell is secondary, it's secondary. I know you want to live of something, but you need to understand that the milk, the more you feel rich and abundant while you're creating, the more you will radiate wealth, and the more you will attract wealth.
There we go.
Right? If you feel poor, starving artists, listen to the generations of starving artists. Start defining yourself. Start looking and give words to what you're creating. And by the way, everybody is a multimedia artist. That's not
everybody is.
Everybody. There's no. You might be strong. Like Beyonce is strong in singing, but she's an actress. She's doing all other stuff. So everybody does everything. That was just from the olden days where they say, hey, make a choice, and that's what you are. And
I like that you touched on that, because it's a lot of multi-hyphenate people out there, and it's okay.
But that's our limitlessness. It shows that we are limitless. You should be an accountant. Accountant is a system value versus There's an accountant, he's a painter, he's this, he has a family. I mean, there's so much more. We are defining ourselves. Oh, were you in tech? That doesn't define you at all.
It doesn't.
Right? Well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, a fireman. Doesn't say anything. A policeman. It doesn't say anything. It's the system value definition.
Yeah,
it's like you're saying, oh man, you white. Oh yeah, you are black. Oh, you are Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? You are human. You are limitless human. A limitless human. And it's not in gender. I don't even see you as a woman. I mean, of course, I see that you're a woman, but I'm not relating to you as a woman. I'm not saying, oh, I need to now think, how do I talk to a woman? But this is how most people function.
They do.
And age, even age. You know, age. She's young. She must not know anything. And you surprise me every minute. You know what I mean? It's just to assume things that you're conditioned with. And that's why I say, everybody that listens to this, make for a week your true knowest humanity. Don't look at anything, just make it humanity and look at nature, your habitat. So get out there, walk, sing, keep your phone, right? Keep your phone and dictate in thoughts. I have an iPod. I don't have my iPhone. I have an iPod. I use it and dictated it every thought that comes to me because there's so much coming in. And I dictate it in, and then I write. When I have time, I just do one of they're all 20 seconds long, and then I type them all in, and then out of it becomes, articles or books.
I love
but I've had this too. I've for example, I said, "Wow, there's a chartreuse. Oh my God, this color." Okay, and I never thought about chartreuse and purple. Wow, what a great combination! Because I love color combinations. I get so much what's your favorite color? I would say green, but what kind of color combinations? I think color combinations are just 15 layers more than just a single color because
it really is. It's right? So fun to just paint all over,
there's so much in it, and it opens me up. And look at me. I have no education. Failed class, could never fit into a system, got never successful in a system. And I have juice. I love to live. I love to be myself and meet people and be human.
That's amazing. You have such great energy, and I'm just grateful. So because we're about to wrap it up, but I want to know, and I can talk all day with you though, but I'm like, okay, wait. But
we can do this anytime. We can do this anytime. You have my number now. You have my number, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna save it because we're gonna do this again. Before we go, I want to know, what's a quote or saying that you go by? There's so many.
I write quotes. I don't, I write quotes. My famous quote is. My truest quote is, I would say, it stumps me because I have never thought about this. I mean, there's a million quotes that I like,
There's so many.
There's so many quotes that I like, but I wanted to say, I would say, for me, I don't know, I have to make up a quote. I would say, to find yourself, to create art is finding self and your limitlessness. That's my quote that I just came up with.
I love it.
To create art is to find yourself and your limitlessness.
To create art is to find yourself and create
and discover your limit, because when you create art, which right? I mean, so when you create art, you find who you are. You're not dependent on somebody else saying, okay, so good, this music was good that you did. It wasn't good. You're not depending on somebody else.
No,
because you hear it, and that's a good trick. Put stuff on the side when you're unhappy with your creation. Put it on the side. Come back a month later, 2 months later, a week. and you will have a total different observation. That will give you so much because I put paintings away and I said, bullshit, I thought it's gonna work, it didn't work. And I came back to it. And then there's two things that happen. Either you know what to do, you said, oh, it needs red there. Or you say, oh my God, that was better than I ever thought. I thought that was not good. And it happens with podcasts and stuff too. When you think that was a bad conversation or something, you listen to it again later, and you have a different perspective and all.
I overthink everything, no.
No.
I'll be like,
everybody. That's a human thing. Of course,
it is. And that's why I didn't feel guilty about it. I said I did what I did. I said my truth, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to feel guilty about it because I said my truth, and I think that's what people should
exactly.
do.
Yeah.
You know?
At that moment, the truth can be different tomorrow, but we were in the moment. This is what we talked in the moment. This talk cannot be the next talk. The next talk will be different, you know?
Yes.
And it can be best, by the way, if you want to talk specifically about something, then let me know. And we can talk specifically about the creation process or creativity or how to go over, you know, when you have a blockage or writer's block or something.
Oh yeah. I'll probably do some more shows on that. I mean, because I was like, most of my podcasts are like coffee style, free form flow, because it's where the energy and the vibes take us, and it's been pretty fruitful. But I appreciate you so much for being on my show today. And also, where can people find your art, your music, everything?
One hub, michaellm.com. Michael with 2 L's. michaellm.com. Michael with 2 L's, and everything: books, podcast, music, all socials, everything, my phone number, everything. And if you need a lecture or whatever, talk or come, my focus is really to change artists. I mean, all over the world. That's why I did 50 interviews in the last 6 months. I want to change because it's basically not what we're blind to it. We have become blind to the importance of art. It brings us back together to the humanness. It brings us in balance, because you can be whacked out from working and you come back and do your music or do a thing. It brings you right into balance. Even though the product is not that good, it still brings you back into balance, and then you can make a super product.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, start where you are, you all. Like take that in. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the pod today. I'm so grateful. Please check out his website, support him, talk to him. And thanks for listening, everybody. I appreciate it. And make sure you subscribe to Blu Alchemist Podcast and SequoiaBlue.com.